community, 200 Negro nuns attend First National Meet, immediately piqued my interest. However, it was the accompanying photograph of 4 smiling Black Catholic sisters that steadied my hand on the microfilm reader that day. Until that moment, I, a lifelong Catholic, had never seen a Black nun except in a Hollywood film. In fact, the only Black sister that I knew of at the time was Sister Mary Clarence, the fictional character played by Whoopi Goldberg in the critically acclaimed Sister Act film franchise. Deeply ashamed of my ignorance, I soon learned that I was not alone. Even my mother, who attended Catholic schools for the entirety of her formal education, and who in 1974 became one of the first 3 Black women to graduate from the University of Notre Dame, was unaware of the existence of Black nuns in our church. "No, only white nuns taught us in our schools," my mother relayed to me on the telephone later that evening. "But I wish I had known. I wish we'd had Black nuns in Savannah, Georgia, when I was growing up." Stunned by my mother's revelation, I set out to learn as much as I could about the NBSC and understand the roots of the invisibility of Black Catholic sisters in our lives. From Cyprian Davis's landmark study of the U.S. Black Catholic community, I discovered that there had been Black nuns in my mother's hometown in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Before anti-Black prejudice and violent threats pushed these consecrated women out, members of 2 all-Black sisterhoods helped to lay the foundation for and ensure the survival of the city's Black Catholic educational system. Their heroic efforts made my mother's, and by extension my own, journey into Catholicism possible. Yet the white nuns and priests who taught my mother and hundreds of other Black children in Savannah during America's civil rights and Black Power years never once alluded to Black sisters in their lessons. According to my mother, her white instructors did not teach any Black history or art either. After calling and writing a host of Catholic institutions to track down some of the sisters and ex-sisters who established the NBSC, I finally began to understand why. "The saga of America's Black women who have dared to be poor, chaste, and obedient is largely untold," wrote Sister Mary Shawn Copeland in 1975. "It is an uneasy story, not only because it is rooted in the American dilemma, racism, but also because the position of a woman in an oppressed group is traditionally delicate and strategic." By the time I interviewed her, Copeland was a distinguished professor at Boston College and the first Black president of the Catholic Theological Society of America. She had also been out of religious life for 13 years. In the 1960s and 1970s, however, Copeland, the first African-American Felician sister in Detroit, Michigan, and later an Adrian Dominican sister, had been one of the NBSC's most visible leaders. She had also done more than anyone to preserve the organization's memory in the face of marginalization and erasure. In addition to publishing the first scholarly article on the NBSC, Copeland, in the early 2000s, arranged for the deposit of the organization's papers at Marquette University. "I am so glad that you are interested in the Black Sisters Conference," Copeland expressed during our first conversation. "We've been waiting on someone to tell this story." While Copeland's willingness to share her experiences with me proved pivotal, it was Dr. Patricia Gray, the NBSC's founding president and one of the 4 nuns featured in the Pittsburgh Courier photograph, who radically changed this book's focus. Routinely described by her female and male peers as one of the most intellectually talented and charismatic Catholic sisters of her generation, Gray, known in religion as Sister M. Martin de Porres, had been the NBSC's heart and soul in its formative years. As Pittsburgh's first Black religious sister of mercy and the conference's leading public voice, Gray was also the face and force of the new Black nun. However, in 1974, Gray abruptly departed religious life and stopped giving interviews related to the NBSC.